It's been a little while since I made a video, so I decided today was a good time to do like a really short informational tutorial on a script that I wrote. So it's bugged me for a long time that GameMaker has a function called load CSV and no function called save CSV. If you don't know what a CSV file is, it's a comma-separated value file. It's commonly used for like spreadsheet applications. So Excel can export CSV files very easily, and Google Drive and all that sort of stuff can export them and load them. You can think of it as each cell and row in your spreadsheet is separated by a comma, and then each row is a new line. So in GameMaker, load CSV pulls in a CSV file that you specify and puts it into a DS grid. Now, DS grids are essentially just really well organized 2D arrays, so you can imagine them exactly the way that you would imagine a spreadsheet. You have a line at the top ranging from 0 to whatever number you define that essentially is your columns, and then down on the side you have rows, so 0 to whatever you want as well. So if you look for a cell inside of there, you can say, I want row whatever and column whatever, and then you get the value. So these are really good for saving a lot of data or saving very specific data. I know some people use them to load any files. They'll pull in the CSV and then put all of the information that they need into a DS grid. I've used something like this in the past for or like account data on the server side of things. There are a myriad of functions that you could use this for. So like I said, the big holdup is that there's no save CSV function. So if you create a grid or if you load a grid from a CSV and then you modify it, there's no way to just like output that as a file that your program will be able to load again. So I wrote a function called save CSV, and it's really simple. All you have to do is you give it the index of the grid that you're trying to save and then what file you're trying to save it to, so you can, get save file name and let the player decide or whatever. And then it just finds the width and the height of the grid that you're trying to save, and it creates the CSV file that you're trying to save it to. And then we just loop through each row, and every time you loop through a row, so you go to the row, and then it loops through the cells that are in that row. And if it's not the end of the row, when you get to whatever cell you're looking at that time, it adds a comma to it. And then for each row, it just writes that out to the file, and then closes it. And this works really well. You can import data from a CSV file or from a file that is acting like a CSV file with a different name. And then once you're done modifying it in your program, you can just save it out as a CSV file again, and then reload it upon the next session. So hopefully this is helpful for somebody, and maybe if not informative. But yeah, y'all have a great day.